It? I want to do a full 24-hour stream.
I feel like if you even attempted an 8-hour stream, they'd be like, nah, set them up for anything, whatever they want. Yeah, they got the keys to the castle now.
No one even needs to do this for an hour, let alone 8.
That's what we're on to. So it appears that we're live now. So if there was anything you wanted to say now to my face, now would be the time.
Are we live? It's a very existential question that I'm not sure I have the answer to.
Let's start out. Did you get everything watched for today?
Nope.
What did you miss?
Technically, I have like 30 minutes left of The Outsider. Which
those are like the best minutes of it.
I bet they are, because I predict that there is a sword fight. Come on. This movie's so goddamn predictable.
Nah.
It 100% ends with a sword fight. I know it does.
Nah. You don't know that. You don't know this. Oh, it's good stuff. Did you get caught up in Black Lightning and Alienist?
No, I'm still having trouble with my internet. I don't know what's going on.
Son of a bitch, because now you have to.
No, I'm going to. It's just, I need to get over that social anxiety hump of where I can finally call fucking my internet provider and be like, why won't my shit work?
That makes more sense. Black Lightning, they're both turning into very intense shows now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they both caught me off guard this week. So I was I was so excited. I was like, Luke's gonna come this week saying he hasn't watched them, and then we're just gonna cut them from the list and be done with them. And both shows were pretty fucking stellar, and I was like, son of a bitch, why you keep doing this to me?
No, I don't want to cut it. Like,
okay.
I'm actually on vacation this week, so I should be able to get my shit sorted out and get caught up.
Nice. Yeah, because Black Lightning is turning into something very intriguing because it deals with what I believe they were hinting at in the first episodes, like since he's been gone a decade, like what would have happened if he would have kept going, and like if somebody else would have been able to weaponize his powers. That's all I'm gonna say right now. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Excited.
Alienist is doing this thing where like it's beating around the bush that like you figured you knew where it was going, and now it's just so haywire because they're building characters at this point. And like it felt like we had enough of them to go where we needed to. But now it's taking deep dives on all the characters, and it's really fascinating. So yeah.
Is it getting weird yet?
Yeah, definitely. These last two have been pretty weird.
That's what I needed.
So yeah. So I guess we don't have to talk about those. Yeah, you want to get right into it then?
Yeah, sure.
How fucking insane is Legion? It's okay. Killing me.
It's not that insane, right?
No. It's pretty fantastically insane.
Yeah.
That show is driving me fucking bonkers.
I figured it must be if you're actually texting me about stuff, because usually we have a pretty no contact rule about talking about stuff for the show.
Yeah, I it's so hard to grasp what's going on, and it's that's me. that like it's boggling my goddamn mind in the best way.
Yeah. So what is it that's grabbing you about the show? Is it just that you can't, like, it's intangibly like hard to follow, or that you want to get to the core of it, or what's grabbing you?
I'm confident in the writing enough that I know the questions I have are going to be answered, but it's going to give them to me in the least suspecting way possible. And like it almost trips me out every time like I get an answer, because it's always met with like 2 more questions. So it's quite wild.
So where do you think we are? Where do you think we're going? I'm not going to spoil anything because obviously I've seen it, but
okay. So the one thing I'm getting hung up on is the title of the show is Legion, which in various incarnations has meant many, which like even if like Ghost Rider, like the Legion of like 1,000 souls or whatever, has got me thinking that he's so many personalities crammed into this guy that it's almost like a split, the movie Split, where he has all these different personalities and they're able to, like, each one of them has their own powers that they can manifest.
I can tell you that is 100% the character from the comic books. Like that
it is?
Like in the comics, he has multiple personalities inside him that he can call forth, and each one has their own power set.
Yeah, because you started seeing it play through on both of these episodes, really, but like, heading into the 3rd episode, like, and then you start reflecting on what we've already seen and like when his powers have manifested and everything, and it's almost as if Sid, with their body swap, has not only has become entangled in those personalities to the point where she's almost able to unconsciously use his powers as well, for better or for worse.
Like I said, I'm not going to answer one way or another on anything because I've seen it. I just want to get.
No. Yeah. I totally don't want you to answer any of this. Like this has all just been in my head, racking my brain for the whole day. So, let's see.
So, like, episode 3. Oh, good. Good.
It's such a wild mix, like from Inception, like where they're playing in his mind in the 3rd episode, when they're chasing the little boy and like he's trying to find safety for them, like in From Eternal Sunshine. Coming back to Mute that we watched a couple weeks ago, where the guy can't speak in a world of everybody around. Like it feels like that kind of thing, and then they harkened back to the "if we love each other, like isn't that enough?" Like when Sid asked him if she could be present for like when they were going to do the testing, and then like the Doctor Strange where they're like astral projecting and shit too now, like like it gets built upon and built upon and built upon, and like I have no idea where any of it's going.
Yeah, but I mean, we get sweet jazz dancing though. That's what the show gives us.
We did. I was so thrilled when we did as well. Like when it kicked off with Jerome, I was like, oh, man, what is the show, and why did I sleep on it for so long?
Why did you sleep on? I guarantee I was talking about this a year ago at this point.
I not doubting it in the least. Let's see.
Come on, it's
so episode 4 when he's on his own and everybody's trying to find him. That's when it felt like the whole personalities things like came into view. But like aside from that, I don't know if you ever read Tokyo Ghost, but like Davy is trying to get everybody's consciousness inside of him, and then like he can be a god of the world. It feels like that, but he's like replicating people inside his mind, and then like just living life inside his head. But I don't know, with the whole astronaut diver guy, Jerome. He didn't have any knowledge of him, but he called out to him. I don't know, this fucking show, man. It's so trippy.
It's good. It's a show that can make a beagle look terrifying in retrospect, you know? Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's so good. I don't know. I just,
sure.
I wanted to get to episode 4.
It feels...
Because, like, I feel episode 4 is the litmus test. Like, if you can watch that weird-ass episode and be in, like, the show's for you.
I also loved in episode 4 where it showed Sid actually body swapping, and like the transition of them like replacing each other at the same moment gave me the answer that like how did him and Sid like swap, like what's his consciousness in her, like so it feels like he's left him puzzle pieces to figure out this whole mystery, but like the other personalities don't want him to solve what's going on.
Yeah, and obviously have some sort of agenda. You know, I mean, like,
yeah,
when he was trapped in the astral plane, unable to get out, it was Lenny being like, I need to get out. I can't be here. And then her provoking him to get angry to use his powers to get out. You know, like, there's
and the whole fucking Lenny Benny situation, like, what's real? Like, I can't trust anybody at this point because the people that have shown themselves to have powers can't use it when they need to, and, like, they think they're more powerful than they are, and, like, the one that doesn't have any grasp on his powers is just a loose cannon at all times. It was awesome seeing, or when they were in the forest, and the one chick commented about it being a great place for a fight. Like, was that? I would be interested if that was used for Logan, because it felt like that end fight for Logan.
It's just the woods. But no,
like, yeah, I know, but it felt very, like, not, like, heavy, ham-fisted nod to it. It's like, we know what we're doing.
But that just leads to that great sequence, though, when, like, you're cross-cutting between, like, the Eye attacking Sid and the other guy in the house, Carrie having the fight in the woods, which splits to Carrie in the laboratory feeling the effects.
Oh, God.
And Jermaine dancing. It's just cross-cut between all 4 of these things.
It is the purest form of insanity. Like, this in Twin Peaks, when we discovered that, like, this show is so fun. I'm glad I waited at this point, because now we're going to be able to go straight into season 2, and, like, neither of us can know what the hell's going on. So it's going to be this constantly.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting caught up. Like, it will be difficult to only go one episode at a time, because, like, I'm really enjoying this show.
So, but, like, do you see what I was talking about, like, 2 weeks ago when I said, like, it's like nothing else you've really seen? There's always something new and weird, and, like, the fact that, like, it's mostly in episode 3, I think, and part of 2, but, like, the angriest boy in the world, just this, like, creepy-ass, giant papier-mâché-headed thing chasing people around. Just terrifying.
I thought I knew terrifying, but Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, that, and I think Sid's just seeing it manifested out in the world now, isn't she?
She was in this episode. Yeah, it's interesting, right? What's going on? Which leads to the creep, like, you know, like, there's the part where they were in the doctor's office, and she's like, is it possible we're still in his head? And he's like, no, we know, I think. Like there's no definitive answers there.
Yeah.
You're off guard
like,
all the time. But where I look at like the storytelling that, especially in like these 2 episodes that they're doing, is we find out that these are, like implanted, replaced memories, basically, to hide things. Like David has recreated these memories for some reason. It's some form of protection, possibly. So like it hits on, like we were talking about last week, the idea of memory and how memory is faulty and susceptible to your views of it. And so we see that his entire past, like huge chunks of it, are missing and wrong and fake. And if the past is fake, what's to say that the present isn't as well? You're on unstable ground narratively in the show. And that's what's really interesting about it.
Mm-hmm. And like the different manifestations of his powers, like it's so crazy. I love it.
Yeah, like there's that part, and I think it was in 3, right? Where like they're in his memories and they can't get it to go, and he's like, he's too strong, he's blocking us, and then he teleports them out, and they're literally just like, what are you? Like, what are your power sets? Like, you're too strong. What are you? And then episode 4, he's talking about like maybe he's not a good guy and he's probably too powerful. Like, there's a chance that we can't use him in the way we need to.
Yeah, like the mixing of everything, like the best bits of these little different stories, like this whole Inception idea where they're inside his head, and like when they come out, and like the one chick is like telling me that we need to go slow, but your mind's already smart, like catching on to what we're trying to do, so like we have to go full bore, and it's like, that's probably not the safest idea, and fuck yeah, let's do this.
It's good. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's wild and excellent. So if you haven't seen Legion, get caught up with us and enjoy the ride.
I'll get caught up with you. This is my 3rd time watching this season.
Nice. Very nice. So yeah, that's Legion. What would you like to go on to next? No, let's talk Outsider, because since you're already through it.
Yeah, since I didn't finish it.
How much are you enjoying it, even though it's predictable?
It's very predictable and boring. And it's just like, it's not it's not offensively bad like I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's just a really boring Yakuza movie. And I can go watch 100 better ones at any time,
It's fair. That's accurate. Yeah. I think I saw the controversy around it, and that everybody was worried about it was being whitewashed, and it's like, no, this is actually a pretty decent, like, gang tale. Like, Blood In, Blood Out, 13th Warrior, like, it's very similar storytelling to all this, and like...
But, like, Nick is such a blank character who really doesn't do anything. Like, you could take him out of this movie. Like, there's...
Yeah.
Like he's such a passive point of view character that you're not grabbing on and identifying with him in any way. Like,
see, this is fascinating to me now, is because this is probably the 3rd character we've had this year so far. Like, the dude from Mute, and like, I'm finding these stories exciting because of everything that's happening around these very, very bland characters, whereas you're just like, I don't like the whole mix of everything. Like, even though like this guy's he's way more emotion, like, let me see what I'm trying to say. He's much more present and has a presence more than the dude in Mute or Gosling was in Blade Runner, and like he has expressive faces, and he can't say much because of the cultural implications, I guess. But like, I'm loving everything in the background, because like I love that like 50s Japan, China aesthetic, like the Eastern world aesthetic.
That's great, but like when there's opportunities to tell, okay, so like here's the thing. You either need to give me a reason that Jared Leto is the main character, which is a very simple there's a very simple way to do that the movie uh almost seems to go out of its way to get around, and that's the idea of a white man in post World War II Japan. Like that is a very easy way to not only are you an outsider in the terms of whiteness, but like your country just dropped a nuke on us and we are ostensibly still enemies even though we lost to you. Like there's an interesting story to be told there that they just stay away from. They do these oblique references to like he was in the army, but something had like there's no fucking need for Emil Hirsch to show up and try and tantalize these hints 40 minutes before the movie's over and not do anything with it.
I saw him as they were announced in the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh, he's in it? That's weird. And like he showed up, I was like, oh, there's Emil, I guess. Emil! So
just to show up to be like, you're avoiding court martial, aren't you? Oh, I'm dead. Like, you're not giving this character anything. But like he's just so passive. When he's like, they ask him if he speaks Japanese, and he's like, just a little. Yet he's just present for all these big, in-depth Japanese conversations and follows along perfectly fine. But
see, I think he's playing the card where he wants to appear dumber than he actually is. So utilizing that on his good.
But no, and like,
but like what you're saying is that makes a lot more sense. I think if they would have played that angle that he was in the army much more than just that he saved this dude's life when they were trying to kill him. That I can see your point.
He just feels like this very. He's just kind of there on the peripheries until there needs to be some violence. Like it's just a weird like. It reminds me. God, I can't believe I'm going to say this because I love it. It reminds me of Gosling's character in Drive. Not as like Gosling was like very charismatic and carried that movie, where I feel Leto's very like bland and just whispery, but like it's that character who's very quiet and doesn't do anything until there's these bursts of violence. But I felt like in something like Drive, there's a character rationale for why he's doing, but Leto just seems to like burst out and like when they're in that bar and the rival gang comes in, it seems like the whole mess is over and they're gonna leave, and they just smashes a bottle on the guy's face. Like it's it's like they're not really going there. But then it's the main problem would be that it's very predictable. Like, of course, the guy who brings him in has a sister who he has to stay away with, but of course he's not going to. And okay, what the fuck? Like, I'm not crazy that like at no point would anyone in human history get a full back piece and not know what it meant.
No, that is nope. And that was such a simple meaning for such a huge tattoo. Like, just means you're arrogant. No,
yeah, he's just getting this huge back piece, and his girlfriend's like, "Do you know what that means?" And I was like, "Wait, what? He just getting a tattoo?"
I love the fact that like her tattoo like has deeper meaning. It's like, oh, it's because like you need both paths. You need to know like when to go and when to stay, and like all this. He's like, nah. Well, I mean, you're white and you're arrogant, so that makes sense.
It's very ridiculous.
But not only a full back tattoo, but like it wraps around to the front as well. Like, no, fuck you.
And then I guess like the last thing I need to say about it is I did a little looking real quick, and I remembered where it came from. Like, this movie was originally set to be a Tom Hardy vehicle with Takashi Miike directing, which immediately would have been a much better movie. Like, at least...
yeah. Did you ever see... I'm trying to think what the Moonshine one was.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
You should definitely... Like, knowing that movie, like, this would have been completely different. Like, Hardy would have gave a fucking incredible performance. So
yep, I would believe that.
And
And like Mike would have gave it so much more flair in the directing part. Like one of the things I'm really bugged by, I get like you're into like the 50s aesthetic, and I can see it, but like it feels like I'm back in like 2002 where everyone's got to have a blue fucking filter on. Like it's just this gray, blue, drab movie.
Yeah. And that's why I appreciate this conversation, is because you bring that whole different specter. Like I'm just in it to catch a movie, and like you're just analyzing shit that I wasn't even thinking of. So like, yeah, and plus this feels very much like a Netflix throwing money around to just get some stuff made.
Like at this point,
it's just a very simple movie.
Yeah, but like it kind of has me worried about like Netflix originals now, because like,
see, and this is what. Like that was what I started thinking about after watching this. Like, they're supposed to have like what 700 this year
between TV and like films and stuff they're acquiring and whatever. Yeah, but like it's obvious they're not going for quality. Like,
yeah, it's definitely a quantity over quality thing.
Like compared to like you've been fairly positive on the past ones, but like Bright, Cloverfield, and then this is like that's like 3 strikes for me, you know. Like it's like you guys got to get your shit together. Like Mudbound, out of their past 4 original films, I've liked one of them. So
yeah. Interesting. Son of a bitch. So yeah, I think that's pretty much The Outsider. Now what?
I don't know what we got left. I'm assuming we can talk Strangers.
We got Strangers, or what? Wrinkle in Time, or I guess we'll save Jessica Jones for last. So
yeah, I figure we'll go to Strangers because you'll just go, I hated it because it was spoopy, and then I'll talk a little bit about it.
So I actually really fucking enjoyed it.
It's really good.
Not seen the other ones,
I haven't either.
It really is. Like, it has very much that ritual vibe, and I went into it thinking it was like witchcraft or voodoo or some like insane thing, but it has this hush and ritual vibe to it that's like eerily, scarily like realistic. That it's like fuck, like goddamn. But I did have an older gentleman sitting right next to me, and like the opening scene when the Ford truck rolls up, he's like, that's probably right there. Scary people drive Fords. Fuck them. And like I just lost, and I was like, this is gonna be a good time. So
it was weird. Like it was me, 2 people in their 70s, and their obvious like 10-year-old grandchild. That was who was in the theater, so it was a little weird. But no, I've never seen the first Strangers, but I don't think you need to. It's a home invasion film, you know. But like my takeaways from it, 1, it's like 85 minutes. It's in and out. It knows it doesn't need to be a fucking minute longer. And there's still some fucking like boring shit at the beginning. And 2, it is like very competently shot. Like tons of like very smooth camera work. It's a light camera. It feels floaty, like as opposed to steady cam work. I'm seeing a lot of like late 70s, early 80s zooms. Fucking just like smash zoom. Like I haven't seen those like long. Like, okay, we're gonna have a mother-daughter scene and we're gonna shoot it from 500 feet away and slowly fucking zoom in over the conversation. Like shit I don't see in modern filmmaking, which kind of gets me excited. I know it
kind of felt like a Jason or like Halloween-esque, like the early 90s, I guess, horror. It felt very much like that. Where like you didn't have killers that said anything and just fucking murdered everybody.
Yeah. I guess like one of the problems I have with that is in horror films you get it, and it's a little easier to throw away on slasher stuff that's, I don't know, a little I don't know how to. So much like you said, it feels grounded in reality, right? But then there's this idea of the omniscient killer, which I hate, where like there's literally a scene in this movie where like the girl's running away from a truck and she randomly goes into a trailer and one of the killers is in there with the Jack in the Box set up to scare her already. It's like there's no way you knew she went in there or know that she would go in there, yet you're perfectly there, you know? So there's that sense of like these killers are human and they're fucking with these people, but they're also so prescient that they're 3 steps ahead. Like, and that can kind of get on my nerves at times. The other thing that drives me fucking crazy in these movies, guess what? It doesn't fucking matter who's under that mask. There's like 3 times people are like, gotta try and lift this mask up. Why? Who cares?
Yeah.
You pull it off and it's someone you don't know. You pull it off and it is someone you know. What's it fucking matter? They're trying to kill you. Shoot them. You know, like.
Yeah.
But no. And to go into like the filmmaking techniques I was talking about, like, I think it's super interesting the way they do a lot of the framing in this movie, so that you're very pulled out, and the character in the front is very kind of mid plays, so you get a large expansive background, and then you see little movement in that, and there's a lot of hiding stuff in the background, which I think is interesting, which also leads to that fucking great scene when the killer's running at the boy from the background, and he just turns around and wipes her in the face with the fucking golf club. You know, like you get that cathartic release where like, oh, there's something behind it and they don't see it, but then the kid catches it at the last second. Like, it's smart filmmaking. And it also leads to that entirely insane fucking total eclipse of the heart scene.
Oh man. This movie, I tell you. It was just madness. Like, the coldness of the killer, like the whole van, father, like that whole death scene was just insanity. Like, I was like, fuck these people, like, Jesus Christ.
But it also, like, one, I guess I don't know where you sit in like horror iconography and stuff, but like it's really weird that they steal the ending for Texas Chainsaw Massacre in here, to where like she, you know, the ending of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like the lead girl gets out of the house and gets to the road and stops the truck, and the guy gets out, and then Leatherface runs up and she jumps in the back of the truck and they drive away screaming. Like, it's literally the exact same ending of this.
Nope, no idea.
But like that scene though, I swear to God, like, I don't know if this is the way it was shot or the lighting or something, I thought the main character took an axe to the face in that shot before she got in the truck. Like, the killer pops up and swings an axe, and it looks like it hits her and she crumples. Like, 100%. I was like, did they just kill her? Oh no, she's in the truck. Okay.
That being said, I'm like a little bit interested in seeing the other two to like see if these killers like survived the first movies and then got to this one. But like,
there's actually only one. It was the first one. This is the second, and it is the same characters. Like, at least, you know, it's a goddamn dude in a burlap sack and 2 fucking 50s pinup mask things or stuff.
Wasn't the one that the unmasked, wasn't that Hilary Duff?
No, but I wish it was.
God damn it. Like, I could have, like, I swear they pulled their mask off, and I was like, well, you know what, fuck you for the rest of your life. I don't ever have to...
McGuire.
Shoot that bitch with a shotgun.
And also,
like, yeah, it was insanity.
Little vibes of Christine in there with the truck on fire at the end and everything. Yeah, like I said, there's some weird nods to the iconography of horror films that I'm not sure what they were trying to achieve with it. But I actually dug it. So
it was gorier than I was figuring when they showed the grandparents all fucked up, and like I said, the parents' killings and stuff. Like, Yeah.
But it is cool.
Also, it made it very creepy right offhand that their German Shepherd was just cool with it. It's like, oh, fuck it. They didn't give me enough food, so I don't care. Kill the shit out of them. I was like, no, dogs don't do that.
No, it's cool. And also, like, when the kids went in the house, the dog wouldn't have bumped against the door twice. It would have been whining and scratching, and there's weird anachronisms to like actual how it would play out. But last thoughts. One, I love the '80s soundtrack. It like brought that movie up a fucking notch because like I'll watch people get killed to Bonnie Tyler and fucking the Muffs any day of the week. Which weird, like in the death scene of the father, when like he's like, before I kill you, I gotta put on some 80s synth, and then once you're dead, I can shut it off.
And he's like, shh, I just want to hear this, and then I'll kill you. Just relax. But yeah,
can't wait for that synth beat to come in. Okay, we're good. Stab, done, over. And also, like, it is way past the point in these movies where you're going to put based on true events on the screen. Like, because eat my ass, no, it's not.
Totally got me. I was like, I don't ever want to go to a trailer park ever again.
Well, I never want to go to a trailer park either. But no, it's like,
that's right.
You like, if you got the fucking filmmakers down, you're like, what were these based on? Well, one time somebody broke in and attacked somebody, so it's based on true events. No, fuck off.
I mean, I saw some really weird guys driving around in a Ford truck. I was like, that was the basis for it. So, fucking fucked up.
That fucking truck was like the goddamn shark from Jaws, just circling around that whole movie.
I saw Jaws, and I imagined that was a little jacked up '78 Ford truck, and it was full of killers. So, basically, and also, Jaws.
I don't buy that cop car got rear-ended and then wouldn't start. Like, unless it had a shitty battery cable that flew off, like, you rear-ended it, it's gonna fucking start.
Yeah, I figured it would limp away. Like, I thought he fucked up the axle to the point where it just dragged that back end and he just rammed it a couple more times, but...
Nope, it was just dead.
Just whatever.
I can't start it.
Just dead. But I've known plenty of Jeeps that are pieces of shit, so, I mean, that's not surprising. True. So, did you dig Wrinkle in Time?
I did.
I'll be damned. I came in here with loaded guns. I was like, listen, I'm going to have to tell you why this is an important film and why I liked it. And yeah, I just dug it.
No, here's like my base overall feeling, right? I think the narrative is pretty generic, really. It's a lot of nothing going on. It's a lot of meet this character, we're going to explain something, meet this, we're going to explain something, then we're going to go here, and the movie's over. Like, there's not much to the actual story flow of it. And the otherworldly sense, these other planets we go to and these things, it feels slightly homogenized the way that Star Wars has now that Disney's taken over, where there's nothing really alien about this stuff. It's always, we're people, you go everywhere and it's people there. There's people, a talking flower, it's very clean in that sense, but the movie is so like cloyingly sentimental and nakedly emotional that if you ride the wave of emotions through the movie, it totally works. And I bought into it that way.
Plus, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Plus, Chris Pine is the best Chris, so we can end that conversation.
It's true. Much to what you were saying, like, it feels very important for kids to have this message as well. Like, I know this is based purely for them, but, like, I think it's just a good message to have out in the world.
Yeah, like, the things you think are your flaws are actually what makes you the best you. Like, it's a very inspiring message. And, I I've seen all these reductive think pieces like, oh, the movie says that mean girls are evil and everyone knows that's not true. And it's like, that's not the fucking what the movie's saying. Like that is beyond the point. And I mean, there might be a sense of like last week I had problems with Annihilation because I was so married to the source material. Whereas at this, I have no concept outside of it. So I don't know like how that intertwines, but I just bought into what they were selling.
Really cool thing that happened. I saw it a few hours ago, and like, I kid you not, there was a busload of older folks. Like, I want to say at least 10 people that just showed up the movie and watched it because they read this book like 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, they just were so happy and pleased with it. Like, walking out, like I got caught behind them and they were just gushing about the movie. I was like, that's fucking rad. So.
That's good. Yeah. No, like I dug it. I dig that. You know, like it's a diverse cast. Where you know it's a lot of females. You know, like we're getting past this white cis male idea of that's got to be our hero. It's you know. We ended the week for the first time ever where the number 1 and 2 movies were helmed by Black people. Like, it's to the point where, sure, those 2 movies are Disney movies, to be sure, but they're also made by people of color, about people of color, starring people of color. So it's time for Hollywood to shove these preconceived notions that can't sell up their ass and get the fuck out. Like,
yeah,
you know, like there's no reason that the character in The Outsider couldn't have been an Asian American. Or even just an Asian,
sure.
You know, like you know, it's just shit like that. Kind of was like, I think we're finally reaching that point where maybe it's gonna open some fucking eyes finally.
I'm totally agreeing with everything you got right now. I was so surprised that we both enjoyed it that much.
Oh, I was in, man. I was fucking just watery eyed for a good chunk of that fucking movie. Like, again, like I think I've reached this point where like my fucking like hormone levels are just like off now that I've got into my 30s because like shit just sets me off. It sets me off really easy now, but like, so much of that movie I was just like, you know, a little dab there, a little dab here. Yes, you be a warrior. You do it.
You get that shit. So, hell yeah. So, on to Jessica Jones. Are you enjoying it so far?
That's an interesting question. It's a very interesting question.
It's weird because it feels completely different from the first season. Where Daredevil, well, I guess Daredevil did it too to some extent, but this feels very Luke Cage-ish, where you're getting questions and you're getting them answered the next episode. So, like, I started writing notes.
You there?
But that being said, I'm enjoying it. 6 episodes in, but I don't really know the characters, so.
I think I really like Jessica still. I think Kristen Ritter's really good in this role. At least right now, the season feels loose. It's very nebulous. It doesn't have that connecting point of Kilgrave that the first season had, to where you can hang your literal story thread and your metaphorical story ideas on him and his actions. This is much more of a nebulous thing. I mean, I can listen. The show ain't fucking subtle. We'll start that. On a season where we're taking all of these characters and we're reflecting on their past and whether they're going to fall back into these past molds or move beyond. Not too subtle when the very first episode is Jessica, the ashes of her dead family members are pouring down on her. She's literally sitting in the ashes of her past life and who she could have been. get it, show. I kind of get what you're doing here. But that said, like,
I love it. I didn't grab any of that. Like, I'm just along for the ride. Yeah,
sure.
I'm not looking for any metaphors. I'm just like, oh yeah, go solve some shit. Sleep with the Super. I think there's something going on with the Super and Griffin. They seem to be in cahoots, but okay,
no.
we'll kind of figure it out.
The character of Griffin, I have not decided what the fuck the show is trying to do. Because, like, they're so obviously setting him up as being, like, this bad guy who's, like, stealing her story or spying on her or something. But, like, I feel the show is smart enough to subvert that. But it keeps playing its hand in so many different fucking ways. I just need him to fucking tell me so we can move past it. I'm really weirded. Like, I don't buy into the storyline of... Well, there's a couple storylines I don't buy into this season. I don't buy into that Jessica's all into this dude and his fucking kid. For someone who is so self-loathing and, like, you know, as shitty as it is, like, the Jessica that we are at as this character right now is the one who grabs the guy who says she has a nice ass crassly in a bar and goes fucks him in the bathroom. She's just, you know, that's who she is, not the... We're gonna casually flirt on my couch and take our time, and I like your kid and your grandma, and, like, that's not her. So it seems so out of left field. What was I saying? The show is so able to be set up as an episodic show. When you have the backbone of a PI, you could do Veronica Mars style, right? 1 episode, 2 episode mysteries that have a button on the front and the end detailing the main mystery of the season. It's a great way to keep you captivated and not stretch the shit out over 13 episodes. That the show doesn't want to do that. Instead, it's like, let's see what Malcolm's doing and let's see what Trish is doing. And it's given me all these periphery characters that are good in doses as a counterbalance to Jessica. But when you just, like, when you, like, you see Jessica as this mess, and last season Trish was, like, her rich buddy sister who was going to help her out, and now she's, like, addicted to shit again and fucking grudging up, like, sexual abuse stories from when she's 15.
I think when they did the shift, yeah, like, at least season it was at least 60% Jessica and then 40% these other characters, where it feels very much the season that, like, every character has 25%, and, like, that just doesn't work when I give a shit about Jessica Jones and, like, not so much about everybody else.
Exactly. Like you said, they're there to balance her out and support her as opposed to have their own storyline. Like, I don't want to say they're not worthy of having their own storylines, but, like, I didn't need to spend, like, a good chunk of 1 episode watching Malcolm go talk to his landlord about his Cambodian boyfriend. Like, you're not fucking doing anything for yourselves here, guys. So I'm worried, like, all the Netflix shows have run out of steam about halfway through and then petered out in the back half. So I'm worried that this is where we are in the first half right now. So unless it's an inverse of all the other shows where it picks up in the back half, I'm a little worried about it. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, there's shit that, like, I don't want to spend time with fucking Trinity. And, like, I don't want to spend 5 episodes with Trinity at episode 6 to get her to the point I realized that we were doing in episode 2. Yes, she wants to get into IG8 so she can heal herself from ALS. Like, I got there 4 episodes before the show did, so all this is extraneous bullshit in between.
I feel like she's the same character they had in the first season, where she's just there taking up space. Like, we know what her play is. It feels like she's just filler at this point.
And that's the problem, is, like, we went from 60-40 filler last season to we're a lot more filler. Like, there are large chunks sped away from Jessica, and that's not a smart thing to do when the show is ostensibly about her. And also, like, if you guys haven't watched up through episode 6, it's probably a good time to like bail now because we're gonna get to the one thing I want to talk about. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys should be gone. You're gonna have a long conversation with a woman and not realize that it's your mother. Like,
I have no idea. Like, did she see the picture and it triggered that it was her mom?
okay,
Because
so
her face looks exactly the same under a wig.
so it was like she went there and it was like a familiar song and the perfume was the same. But like she died when Jessica was like 15. Like, so that woman probably hasn't changed much in looks. You can understand that like
wait. This isn't the same mom that was in the car wreck, is it?
Why would Jessica have another mom? Yes, it's the
I
mom.
I thought she was adopted though. Like I thought she was adopted by that family.
Okay. Yes, it's the mother from the car crash.
Okay.
She was adopted by Trish's mom after her parents died.
Oh, okay. I knew there was an adoption there somewhere, but it didn't make sense. But now this makes a lot less sense that she wouldn't have recognized her at all.
Yeah. I mean, again, we have the benefit of we weren't able to hit play on the next episode because we were stopping at 6. So the next episode could start with like, yeah, we fucking Nick Cage, John Travolta face-offed it. Like, that's why you didn't recognize me. But like at this point, it's ridiculous to believe that she wouldn't recognize that person was her own mother.
God damn it. Now we're going to get to the end of the season, and I bet she's going to have to, like, step in for her mom and, like, no, it was some other crazy, strong person that was beating somebody up and not my serial killer mom.
I'm also weirded out by, like, this running thread of many characters hating powered people. Because of this, like, we've all seen every little fucking inner bit of the MCU. The only person who is not recognized as a hero is none of them. Like, everyone's just like, fuck yeah, Iron Man. I love the Hulk. Captain America's the best. Like, Jessica Jones is out here in Hell's Kitchen, like, runs into everyone who's like, I don't like people with powers. I don't trust you. You have powers.
Fucking Spider-Man comes swinging through. Everybody's like, yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, fucking A. It almost feels like this is taking place before Defenders, though.
It absolutely is not.
Yeah, I know it isn't, but it really feels like it because she's like, it feels like she should be calling Luke for like protection or something. Like,
no,
when she knows she's outgunned.
She's stronger than Luke, though. Yeah, in season 1,
yeah, that makes sense.
She overpowered him in season 1 when they're having sex and when they fought. Like, he's like can't be hurt. He's in breakable skin, but she's stronger than he is.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't she call the Immortal Iron Fist?
Because nobody fucking wants the Immortal Iron Fist around. Listen, Jessica is doing the exact same thing we all need to do, and that's forget the Defenders that ever happened and just move on.
That's fair. That's fair. It's doing another thing that, like, kind of rubs me the wrong way, that they're setting up main characters that have 25% of the screen time, and they're pretty much going to be pitting them against them. Like, I don't know what the play is between Malcolm and Patsy, but like, or Trish. It's like, seems like a bad move.
Again, like there's a lot of stuff that I think give it a couple more episodes so I can figure out where they're trying to bring this together. Like, there's so many disparate parts at play here, and all of them are trying to tie back to this IGH conspiracy, and it's just horseshit, and it doesn't work. And it's like, again, you are an episodic show. You are absolutely built to be an episodic show. Fucking take goddamn 2 episodes to be like, go investigate my husband. I think he's cheating on me. And then you find out he's a powered person who's a vigilante on the side, and that's where he goes at night. Nice little story to cut up in the middle. And on the end, you can be like, Trish, be like, we need to go fucking intimidate this guy who molested me as a 15-year-old for documents so that I don't have to spend a whole fucking episode learning about that. I don't know. It's weird. I feel the first season was so strongly tied into the idea of survivor's guilt and what it means to move past tragedy in this abuse that came upon you, that this season just feels so loose, but they still want to kind of hit those same beats. And it has the same problem that like Daredevil season 2 did, is that once you lose the villain in Fisk in that and Kilgrave in this, like it kind of takes the air out of the room in the second season.
Fair. Yeah, that's accurate. Son of a bitch. So we get to watch the second half of the second season for next week.
Yay!
And Legion sees episode 5.
Yeah,
motherfucker! I didn't realize there's only 8 episodes.
There is only 8 episodes.
I want more. I know we're going to season 2 right afterwards, but like, I want more.
And season 2 is 10 episodes, I believe. So
nice. Thank you. Thanks for hearing my call, FX.
Did you watch?
So what else are we watching?
I know you didn't, but did you watch the trailer for Legion season 2 for that show you haven't
No,
even finished?
I definitely did not.
It looks so good. There's so much more dancing.
I'm in. I'm so fucking in. What else are we watching for next week then?
So we're finishing second half of Jones, episode 5 of Legion. I'm gonna try and be caught up on all the other shows we're watching for a big, quick end of season and all that shit. Tomb Raider and Hurricane Heist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming you're gonna see Love, Simon, and you can talk about that.
Yeah, if I can get around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping so anyway. So, right on.
Mm-hmm.
That should be it.
Yeah.
That'd be enough.
Did you know?
I'm sure Jessica Jones.
Man, I just kind of was like, "There's a Tomb Raider movie coming out." Whatever. I saw the trailer for it. Do you know who's in that movie?
Yeah, Goggins.
Goggins and McNulty from The Wire. Fucking.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking in. I've been amped for fucking Tomb Raider. It's like one of the trailers that's been playing the last half a year, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll watch it. So then I can just watch it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what Tomb Raider is. I played those games on PlayStation, so I don't need to fucking hold back fucking spoilers for me. She solves fucking riddles and goddamn tombs and gets treasure.
This one looks 100% like the reboots, though, too. Like, I can see parts from those 2 games straight out of it. So
yeah, I'm pumped. So,
but yeah,
looking forward.
Do you think like she was offered the role of Tomb Raider and she went home to her fucking husband Michael Fassbender and was like, "Should I do this?" And he's like, "Well, I did a shitty video game adaptation, so you probably should too."
I'm trying to think. I believe I can't remember where I saw her. Like, I really wanted an action movie after Fassbender's Assassin's Creed, and I was like, ooh, yikes.
Yikes.
I mean, sure. But you got Goggins backing you up, so I'm all about it.
I'm all about Goggins. Give that man everything.
Everything. So, that's what we're watching next week. Join us. Not sure if we're going to be on Twitch or YouTube, so we'll play it by ear, and we'll let you know. If we do it to YouTube, we could probably do it earlier, though. I don't know if you want to do like this late.
As long as I'm not watching shit up until the minute we release the episode. So.
Right on. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll let you know on our various social media sites and whatnot. So
not me. I don't use
watch them and catch up, and I'll let you know when we're doing everything. So
yeah.
Peace.
Oh,
Pineapple,
God,
all that good stuff. Something